I'd like to share my second part of my battle with cancer and how my doctor forced me to go, which is a good thing because they found a cancerous growth. Plan to have it removed. So at that point, I had to see a whole list of specialists. As a doctor for breast cancer specialist, another doctor specialized in. A third doctor dealt with the specific medicines I would need to treat cancer. Anyway, there's a whole list of medications that could use for the treatment of cancer. So I had to set up an appointment for radiation treatments. So I made my first appointment to get a tattoo. I was allowed to get a tattoo, and I thought about it, decided I wanted a smiley face. That's what I'd like to have if I if I have to get a tattoo. So I asked the doctor if I got to pick a specific tattoo, and they said no, they would actually just be, darn it, they would just be putting dots the size of pinpoints across the upper and lower half of my chest. Why was that required? Is because it didn't hurt any more than like getting a shot in the arm, really. Anyway, so once that was finished, my radiation treatments began, and I had to lay on the table while they positioned the radiation for very specific pictures. They had to keep repositioning it for about an hour while I laid there on the table. It was very uncomfortable. So anyway, I had to start going every morning for 6 weeks. So I went, except for Fridays, had Fridays off. Anyway, so continuing my story, then they did warn me that I might get burned, but use aloes. And I thought that was kind of odd, but okay. So, sure enough, when I started the radiation treatments, I had nothing to do but lay there for an hour while they repositioned the camera. For the most specific pictures they could get. All right, so, but sure enough, when I got home, I had red burn marks from the radiation treatment. So I did use the aloe, and that alleviated it till it faded away. It was like a silly sunburn. All right, so once the 6 weeks of treatments were finished, I had to go to the medical doctor for the specific medicines. Just that you need after cancer. Oh, I was worried about some side effects about my hair falling out. I absolutely detest vomiting, so I didn't want to have those. So I was unsure if the medications would give side effects. So actually, and I had the right to say no to any of the treatments and medications. So I decided to put that off for a while. And that was fine. But then I started feeling like, I was worried. I wanted to make sure that they had removed all the cancer. All right, so even though it was about the size of a quarter, they would need to remove a large area surrounding it. And I kept asking them, "Are you sure?" My family even said, make sure you got it all, to make sure they killed all the cancer cells. And they told me to just keep asking. So I went back to that doctor, continued to ask questions, and if needed to remove it, or if it was fine. So then I went back to the doctor that specializes in medicines for cancer and asked if the radiation, and it kind of blew up at me, and I was kind of shocked. But they kept assuring me everything was fine. So I could continue to have some internal problems. And I went back to female doctor, OBGYN. And she said, as long as you continue to get your exams, continue with the breast exams, you should be fine. Everything should be fine. And I was reading about the positive side effects. The steroid, prednisone. and how that could actually have a positive effect on cancer. So I went back to ask my first doctor about it. So I contacted them and asked for information about prednisone, if that was all right to take, and they responded absolutely not, that the positive benefits do not outweigh the negative in this situation. So I thought, all right, that's fine. So I informed the doctor with the specialty medicines that my other doctor had said no. And my medical doctor responded, you need to come to my office for consultation and discuss the worries. So I had a list of the worries. Why did I have one doctor tell, one doctor's right, one doctor's wrong? Why do I have, So the breast cancer specialist is the one who'd said, not to give me the medication, and I wanted a second opinion. So I went for the second opinion, and because I was continuing to worry. I needed more. I needed to know more. I needed more information. So I'd like you to tell me a list of, it's not enough. So I went back to the female doctor and told her I didn't know some of my concerns. I had two different types, two different kinds of. Anyway, I was shocked that they hadn't told me about that previously. So I started with nothing, so I made sure that anyway, I was shocked. They use measurements to determine the stages of cancer. But I hadn't, even it was about the size of the quarter, and I hadn't been able to detect it during my own self-exams. So I was at a stage 3, and that they needed to remove the entire area so that make sure it was nothing left. So the radiation hadn't killed it all, and I was very upset about that. So they told me, go ahead and have it removed. The doctor said that hoped that, that meant everything would be fine and I'd be healthy after. So yeah, I wanted to do what was best, and I was still worried about it. So I went back again, going to all these different doctors for more and more mammograms. So I wanted to know what would be the best. So I kept, going to the doctors and asking questions. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking about the advice that the list, the questions that I had for me. So it was fine. I went back to the breast cancer specialist, the radiologist. It felt like one of them was going to bawl me out for asking stupid questions. But the doctor, it was overwhelming. So I wasn't sure. I was just confused. So it was best I decided on the surgery. Gave him a list of my questions, and Dr. read it, and I braced myself waiting for a response, and I said, okay, no problem. It's up to you. If you want to have it removed, that's your decision. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But, make sure if you have more questions, contact. So I said, okay, I told him I will. But I was shocked that he accepted that. So November 27th, I made another appointment. Went there for the next few months. So seriously, just need to ask a lot of questions, especially when you're feeling, worried about it. So when I was admitted to the hospital, before they left that night, I did experience some bleeding afterwards, which bothered me. Wasn't ready. When I was sitting in the wheelchair, so the nurse came in and said, "You're doing the right thing. Good for you. You're doing the right thing." So I wasn't sure